My favorite smell is blood by Shuck. I started my first teaching job at a small town elementary school 3 weeks ago, and I'm still learning about my students, and learning the ropes too. I really landed on my feet with a class of 6-year-olds, too young to give me much sass. I was teaching them all about the 5 senses, and went around the room randomly asking kids to stand up and tell the class about their favorite taste, touch, smell, sound, or sight. One very quiet boy named Daniel informed us all that, "My favorite smell is blood." This elicited giggles and whispers from his classmates, so I hushed them and asked Daniel to elaborate. "Because it reminds me of my daddy," he said. More giggling and a cat call or two. I had already noticed the other kids could be quite mean towards Daniel, so I scolded them and asked him if he wouldn't mind sharing something else, hoping it would be less strange. It wasn't. "My favorite sight is blood. That reminds me of my daddy too," Daniel said, with a shy, sweet smile. I wonder if he was fully aware of what he was saying. Then, without prompting, he said, "My favorite taste is blood, and my favorite touch is blood, and my favorite sound is blood. These are what I think about when I think about my daddy." "Ew," said a girl next to him, summing up the sentiments of the rest of the room. So I asked Daniel to sit down and let someone else have a turn. But Daniel's words had troubled me. It preyed on my mind all day. And when he was leaving, I asked him why blood reminded him of his father. Daniel shrugged. "One day my mommy took me along to see what daddy does." "And what does your dad do?" I asked him. I was vaguely aware of gossip about Daniel's family having troubles in the past, and that he'd been adopted a couple of years back, but I was new to the area and didn't know any details. Daniel just shrugged again and left. Later in the teacher's lounge, I asked a colleague who lived in the area all of his life if he could shed any light on the subject. "Daniel's father was a butcher," my colleague told me. "He ran an old-fashioned store on Main Street. I used to buy some steaks from there. Most people did. They were excellent. Nice guy." I exhaled sweet relief. "That must explain why Daniel remembers blood," I said. "It must have gotten everywhere. He said his mom took him along to see what daddy does." But my colleague looked pain. "She sure did. Daniel's father was having an affair for years. His mom finally snapped and followed her husband to the mistress's home, crept into the bedroom, and sliced him into small pieces with his own meat cleaver. She held Daniel's hand the whole time."